In the world of super SUVs, I've always thought the BMW X5M and X6M have been some of the best options. These became popular when people wanted something a bit taller, maybe more practical than a regular M5 sedan or E63. Unfortunately, we have not gotten the wagon version of the M5, but here's to hoping the next-gen M5 Touring comes to America. And now for the 2024 model year, BMW has introduced a mid-cycle updated LCI to the X5M and X6M. And now you can only order these as competition models. We have a new engine designation too. It is now the S68. It is still a 4.4-liter twin-turbo V8. It's a hot V configuration, but now it's a 48-volt mild hybrid. Makes 617 horsepower, 553 pound-feet of torque, and it integrates a small little electric motor in the transmission, which can help with more responsiveness. It also deals with like the stop-start system, but typically in a car like this, I get in and turn off stop-start immediately. That little electric motor on its own can make 12 horsepower and 147 pound-feet of torque, and really fills in the power as those turbos spool up. We have a revised 8-speed automatic transmission. It is xDrive as standard with an M active differential, and it's pretty quick. 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds, up to a top speed of 155 miles an hour. But if you get the M driver's package like this one has, it'll do 177 miles an hour. In terms of exterior styling, we have updates to the front and rear. So new headlights and taillights. You see these angled DRLs that also operate as the turn signals. We have blacked out kidney grills, which are fortunately still kidney grill sized. They're not like lungs or giant beaver teeth. And then they black out the lower fascia area. You can see the intake, and it creates this kind of X shape. Around back, we also have updated taillights. You have the typical quad outboard exhaust tips. They're big black chrome 4-inch exhaust tips. This paint here is also amazing. This is BMW individual urban green, and it looks so awesome over that dark brown interior. We've got staggered wheel setup too. They're 21-inch up front and 22s out back, and your typical M touches, like the little mirror design there. We've got the badge in the back, obviously. I just love this color combo. It looks so good, and I personally have always preferred the way the X5 looks over the X6. I always like the normal full-size SUV look versus the more sporty roofline, like the coupe look to the different SUVs. With that, let's hop inside, take it for a drive. We'll talk about the interior, what it's like to drive, and the value. When I first got into the X5M, there were two major things I noticed. The first one is the materials. This leather is called Taruma Brown, which my phone and my laptop auto-corrected to Trauma Brown. I was looking at my notes this morning, I was like, well, that can't be right. Went to look at the window sticker. It's Taruma Brown, and it's a good blend of the leather, nice carbon fiber. And then the second thing is we still have buttons. There are buttons on the steering wheel, there's buttons in the middle, there's actual buttons inside the X5M, when everything, especially higher end luxury cars, are just going to like little touch screens and big touch screens and touch pads and everything. I am so happy we have actual physical buttons inside the X5M. I think this is a really nice blend of quality materials, design, sportiness with enough technology. So you'll definitely see the two big screens. So we have a 12.3-inch digital cluster and a 14.9-inch infotainment screen running BMW's latest iDrive 8. It's all under one big curved piece of glass. Very nice graphics. It carries the M theme with the blue, red, and white accents. There's M-specific graphics on there too, and it's very reconfigurable from what you want it to show, what you want it to look like. The iDrive system itself is pretty good. It's not as easy to use as older systems because everything has gotten so much more complex because there's so many more features and parameters and different things you need to be able to change. But I will say I've gotten pretty comfortable with iDrive. I have spent time with the new M2, the new 7 Series, so I've started to learn this a bit. I don't feel like I need a master's degree to even remotely understand, which some other systems you almost feel like you do. And again, there's actual physical buttons to interface. We still have an iDrive rotary knob. You can go hit the touchscreen, which is really closely within arm's reach. You have gesture control for turning the volume up and down with the Bowers & Wilkins sound system. We also have voice assistant. I can do that. Turn on massage seat. thank you. I have a back massage now, yes. So it's good. It's a good amount of technology, I would say. And we can set up the vehicle here. So I'm just in regular right now, road mode, but I've got the M1, M2 buttons, which is something that newer M cars have had. And it's really cool. It's convenient because you can customize them and it's a quick shortcut. You just a quick press of the button and you are in your M1 or M2 drive mode. I've set up M1 the way I want for a little bit more fun of driving. So I've mentioned a lot of materials already. It all seems pretty high quality. There is a good amount of plastic, but it's okay. The carbon fiber doesn't overwhelm the cabin. You can option it with like open pore wood trim, but I think this amount of carbon paired with all the extended leather does fit the character of the vehicle, right? It's not supposed to be an all-out luxury vehicle. It's not a 7 Series, right? But it has some of that sporty stuff, and I like the amount of carbon fiber. And the tech integration is nice too. We've got wireless phone charger up here. We've got heated and cooled cup holders. We do have CarPlay, Android Auto. I'm running wireless CarPlay right now. That's nice and easy. It actually finally works now. This is a decade ago, right? But when I had my BMW i8, I hated iPhones and absolutely hated iPhones to the point where my dealer was like, you might just want to get an Android. I was like, is that really the recommendation? Luckily, like a decade later, they figured it out, right? So CarPlay works totally fine. Oh man, that is rapid. In terms of the chassis, so I mentioned early on that it has xDrive as standard, all-wheel drive, M active differential, so it's set up to handle that. It does have some sort of rear bias, like kind of drift mode, not full rear-wheel drive drift mode like the M5 would. This is still an SUV, right? Or BMW calls it like a sports activity vehicle. So it's good that I have all-wheel drive to put all of that power and torque down. This thing is quick. It's not crazy warm out today. It looks sunny and nice, but Michigan weather is not being friendly, and it's only 43 degrees out, and we're on summer tires, but I felt quite confident in the vehicle the entire time I've been driving it. It has adaptive dampers, which you can change up a bit, but this one doesn't have air suspension, so it does ride a little bit on the firm side. Body motion is reasonably well controlled, but I did have some head toss when I was on really kind of undulating, uneven pavement earlier, especially as the speed started to climb a bit. But on a freeway drive around town, I felt that it's comfortable enough. I had my M1 mapped to like aggressive bunch of everything, but the chassis, right, was in comfort because I wanted it to be a little more compliant, and you can just really quickly change it up. I could change M2, I could remap that, I could try out the base one, so that is all really good there. So I'm going to make a lot of comparisons to the GLE 63S AMG because, well, it's a direct competitor, but also I just spent a week with one under a month ago. It was a 24 GLE 63S Coupe, and that was definitely similar formula, right? Twin turbo V8 all-wheel drive, plenty of cool tech. It had like the active anti-roll bars and stuff like that, but that never felt small. You felt the size. It felt big, and it was quick. It was fairly powerful, but I never was infatuated with it. This, I got in and started driving, I'm like, wow, this thing, it handles well. I want to go hit the curves with it. It almost feels like it's driving a bit smaller than it actually is. Not like an X3, but like a little bit smaller. It doesn't feel like it's a big SUV, which I like. I like that feeling when I'm driving this X5M Competition. It is rapid, and it's like drama free. It doesn't like kick you, you floor it and it just goes, and the speed's building. You look at it, you're like, oh, that's very fast. That is very, very, very fast, right? For the longest time, some of my favorite performance SUVs have been the Lamborghini Urus, because, well, Lamborghini, but also I love the way it drove, right? The active anti-roll bars, the power. It was just like, this is so cool. This is just, you remove the Lamborghini badge, it's still just an awesome driving crossover. It like handled as well as I would expect like a Panamera or two, or like a performance sedan. I was shocked. And then I love the G63, the new gen, not because of the way it drives like dynamics wise, but just because it's such a unique experience. It preserved like the old styling, the sound of the doors closing, the locks. This has joined up there in my top 3. I don't know if I could say I would take an Urus over this because of the price delta. It's $100,000 more, and I don't think it's $100,000 better. I really, really like this X5M Competition. Definitely more than the GLE 63S. It definitely drives better than RS Q8, although I can't say that for 100% because this is weird. I have not driven the RSQ8. I've driven the Q8, the SQ7, the SQ8, and the Urus, and the RS6, and the RS7. So like everything around it that's sort of related to it. And yeah, so, but I can kind of extrapolate, like I think I know what the RSQ8 is going to be like, but I actually technically have never driven the RSQ8 quite yet. But this X5M is the one that I think drives the best. It's my favorite from that perspective. It checks a lot of the boxes. I am a big fan of this. So let's talk about the value. Base price is right over 120 grand. It's like $122,000. X5M Comp, X6M Comp. Again, you cannot buy a regular X5M anymore. They're only coming as competition. This one here is optioned to just over $140,000. Now the BMW individual paint's like $5 grand. We've got the executive package, which adds things like soft closed doors, the massage seats, heated cooled seats, and things like that. We have the Bowers & Wilkins sound system. Like, this is a very nicely optioned car. You don't get carbon ceramic brakes. It's just as regular brakes, they've been fine. They're like 15.6 inch, 6-piston front brakes. They've been slowing the car down without a problem. Feel very confident in that. So 120-ish option to 140. That GLE 63S I was driving was also 140, but it has a much higher base price. It's like 129 base price. They did increase that quite a bit. The RSQ8 starts at around like 125. A Porsche Cayenne Turbo starts at 140. So that's starting price, right? The Porsche will definitely be much more expensive. And an Urus is 200-something thousand plus, right? That's a whole different price bracket. So is this a good value? I always hesitate to say anything that costs $140,000 is a great value. You're getting so much for your money, right? Because people get very offended by that. I've had some friends who ask me, how much is that one? I say 140, and they're like, oh man, that's so expensive. I was like, guys, stop getting sticker shock. You gotta be used to this now. Everything costs this much these days, right? Do I like this at 140 grand? Yeah. The outgoing M5, I think was an M5 competition like 117. So you are paying a bit more to get the X5M versus just a regular M5, but that has now ended production. We'll be getting a new M5 generation soon, hopefully, from what I've seen, spy shots and everything, and I am hoping for an M5 Touring, because if it brings like that hybrid powertrain from the, XM Label Red or whatever they call it, 738 horsepower, that would be pretty freaking awesome. This is not plug-in hybrid, just mild hybrid. I expect the next generations to become plug-in hybrid. No drama, just go. It almost felt like I started pulling harder when I got into third gear. Yeah, these things are all so tremendously fast, and it's not a slight against the other options, right? There are huge benefits to RSQ8, GLE63. You can be brand loyal to those ones. My preference so far, I've been the most impressed with this X5M Comp. The only complaints, I was on my way drive here, I'm like, you gotta think of something, Eddie. Come on, there's gotta be like some negatives. Air suspension, I would love air suspension, because not for like the ride height adjustability, but so much for like the compliance and comfort, right? So on the freeway, if you could go into really floaty mode, right, it makes it pseudo like luxury sedan, luxury SUV feel. I wish it did have air suspension. Yeah, I thought I had another one. I could not really think of things. I was like, man, because I think it looks awesome. The sharp styling makes it a little more aggressive. It's a good LCI update, right? Because it's just really front fascia and light changes and things like that. Makes it that little bit more modern, keeps it updated. I love the color. Oh, this green is so cool, right? BMW individual, you can do like something like 50 different shades on the X5M and X6M Comp, and we're talking about metallic, non-metallic paints. They have the frozen colors. Even the standard color scheme has a lot of cool ones, like cool greens, reds, blues. There's a couple new ones like Brooklyn. There's a couple different paint options too. The wheels look good. Everything about the X5M exterior-wise, I think looks great. Front end is still very, very cool. It doesn't look bad, right? Which some of the other models, I've not been a fan of the styling. The inside, I mean, the details are so cool. At night, this thing is so cool. You guys have to watch the vlog, the Living with vlog, so I'll show like the nighttime stuff, all the ambient lighting, the panoramic sky lounge thing with the lighting, the little lights in the Bowers & Wilkins speaker grills, materials, all this extended, not trauma brown, Taruma brown leather is very nice. The graphics are beautiful, crisp. It will take time to learn. I know I'm getting more comfortable, but like I'm still like, how do I adjust this main center one? Content, that's heads-up display. So like there's still a lot to figure out. I'm gonna leave that alone right now. iDrive is good, absolutely good there. Yeah, and it's just, I'm so happy there are buttons, guys. I'm so happy there are buttons. I got great headroom. Visibility is fantastic. Second row legroom is fine back there. I've got the trunk. It does. And then driving. It is definitely stupendously quick. It sounds pretty good still. It handles well. I love that you can adjust all the different drive modes. I had a lot of fun on some of these really curvy roads. Oh yeah, I burned a quarter tank in one day already. Nah, it's worth it. Smiles per gallon. I'm smiling. This thing is fun. This thing is really good all around. I'm excited to spend more time living with it, seeing what it's like day to day. So make sure you guys check out that vlog. But dynamically, interior luxury content wise, driving around town, having a little more high speed, curvy road fun. This is really, really good. Hope you guys enjoyed this review of the 2024 BMW X5M Competition. Thanks for watching.